I'm so excited. Thank you so much. My husband says hi. He said homesick. I've had so many questions, so many journeys since I've been living in this vibration without even knowing about you. Found you about 9 years ago. Every question's been answered, even in this segment right before. And so I stand here wondering if we can do something like a rampage of fine-tuning, of going through. I understand the
We
alignment.
can. Under the perfect conditions, we are willing to do that, or under the right conditions, we are willing to do that. We just want to remind you that a rampage is not the tool to lower resistance, because a rampage will heighten resistance. It falls into the category of trying too hard.
Well, maybe I'm just wanting to go to coffee. Maybe I just want to go to coffee with you and talk all day.
We could only proceed on such a thing if the momentum of the gathering had moved to a place where, and has it, where there is an expectation. In other words, do you feel like you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on? You feel like you've kind of left behind things that were bothering you just a little bit? Our definition of a productive rampage of appreciation is to take a subject that already has only positive momentum. In other words, there's no edge in it. The engines are all going that way. Let's say this again, something to really consider. It's going to require a little story. Some dear friends gave Esther a wonderful gift. It was a big iPad. And at the time that she received it, it looked like so much fun, but she was already carrying around a lot of equipment in her bag. And adding one more thing seemed not like a good idea. So she left it home, got it all configured, planned to come back to it, and left it right in the perfect place, as she said, not ready for you quite yet. And then she went away for a few weeks, and when she came back, she couldn't find it. It wasn't where she left it. So she felt bad because it was such a dear gift and she couldn't find it. And so she looked and 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 looked. And she started telling people, because she had this feeling that didn't match, that somebody may have walked off with it out of her house. Didn't make any sense, but it was not there. So finally, as time went by, she released the idea of it, just sort of forgot about it, didn't think about it, even got over the guilt of losing something so nice that someone so nice had given to her. And then she's visiting with a friend. They're flying through the airport together, having breakfast, and her friend is talking about some things that he's reading, some interesting things that he's doing, and she was asking some questions about that and got a little momentum going and was thinking about how nice it is to read something. And so she just got this soft desire going, a very soft desire, very early stages of a soft desire that, oh, that might be something nice to do before bed, since I don't ever want to watch television again. Or that might be something nice to do while on an airplane, just a really soft desire. And she went to sleep that night, and when she got up in the morning, she had the intention of going to her computer and purchasing one of those. And then she got a thought of something that she needed, and she opened the bottom drawer inside a closet, and there was her iPad in a drawer she'd looked in several times before. Now, we know you could chalk her off to a crazy person, and a lot of people would, and we've had conversations about you can't find something that you think is lost, and that's a whole other subject, because you can't find something that you believe is lost. But the power of this experience that Esther lived, the power of it for her, was that she was looking for it. She was wanting to bring it back into manifested form in her reality. She looked for it really deliberately and consciously for many, 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 probably hundreds of hours. We're not exaggerating, but with enough resistance that it could not manifest back into her experience. Something already in tangible form could not manifest in her experience because there was so much resistance in it. Now, here are the components. This is the formula that we want you to pay attention to. When she received the gift, it was a manifestation that she had not really been asking for. So it didn't come on the heels of her flowing energy. In some ways, you could say it was like the horse. It just showed up, and she didn't really want it that much. And then she developed only negative emotion around it, because then she lost it and couldn't find it. But then enough time passed that all of that subdued. All of that evaporated. And then she developed, by talking to a friend, the slightest desire, which was non-resisted, and it manifested instantly. That's the formula. Strong desire that has resistance will not manifest quickly. Strong desire that has no resistance is all over you. Mild desire that has no resistance is gaining momentum and is really delicious and will become more and more and more and more and more. So you see the flawed premise that many of you have been carrying around. It feels to you like you have to really, really, really want something. But the thing is, those things that you really, really want that haven't been coming right away, you've really, really, really been thinking about them really, really, really a lot. And you've got really, really a lot of contradictory engines on your train. That's why you want to meditate. You want to quiet your mind. You want to release it. You want to not think about it. In other words, did you get the formula? Soft desire with no resistance will manifest instantly. Any desire with resistance is hindered. Jerry and Esther drove big buses for a number of years, several of them, towed big cars behind them. One day, in the sequence of hooking up the car and leaving, Esther failed to do one important thing. She did not release the parking brake on the car that was being towed. So they dragged it like a sled behind a big, powerful bus that did not even know it was back there. And when they got to the first place they stopped, which was not really that far, about 30 miles away, they smelled the brake fluid and they knew what had happened, and the brakes were destroyed. The brake fluid was boiling because they dragged that car, but the bus didn't know it. And what we are saying to you is, if you've got strong enough desire, you can drag your doubts along. But it'll still ruin your brakes. It's still not a pleasant experience. And so all of that in the spirit of this rampage. So the time to do a rampage is from a place of soft desire and no resistance. And that's counterintuitive to most of you, because most of you want to do your rampages on the things that you really, really want that really, really aren't coming. And those rampages just cause tension within you. You see, you want to start nice and soft and general, and then let them get bigger and bigger. Is there a topic, a non-resisted topic that you want to explore? Non-resisted topic.
I really want to talk about releasing and energy. Oh, no.
You said you wanted a rampage, do you?
Well, I did, and maybe I just wanted to get up here and talk. I don't know.
Yeah, we think
maybe
that's
a little
more
bit.
about
Yeah,
that.
you probably feeling that. So I wanted to share.
But we like what we said in response to your question.
Oh, and it was answered another
we
question.
would like you to follow through with that.
Okay.
Let's keep your promise to yourself.
Okay. I
So
forgot my promise to myself already.
say again?
So I said I forgot the promise to myself already. So the rampage of trying to find, I think I wanted that. I found this release that I didn't even know that I needed to release as of recently, as of just like Monday, driving down the 10, listening to a song, which I usually always do, singing and crying, and gratitude and laughter. And I started laughing from like 79th Avenue to 7th Ave the entire time. And I think I forgot. I realized along the way that I was doing well with the feelings, and then it slowly turned into the manifesting and wanting something.
But here's our important question to you. So knowing what you know about law of attraction and understanding what you just heard today, and you do, isn't it logical now that those rampages are a natural consequence of life? In other words, isn't it logical that if you've got a desire and there's no resistance, that that desire is going to gain momentum and that rampage is going to happen? And isn't it logical, more thoughts are going to come and more ideas are going to come and more people are going to join it and more impulses are going to come, and it's just going to get more fun and more fun and more fun, and it's going to explode into a manifestation? Isn't that logical? And so given what we've been saying today about not trying to jump into the manifestation too soon, wouldn't even trying to force a manifestation in words fall into the same category as trying to make something happen? And wouldn't you rather just get happy and let the universe yield to you your rampage? Have you experienced that? We're going to be really blunt with you. Have you gone 15 or 20 minutes without being negative enough that a positive momentum can take place within you? You ever been around a table with people you love playing a game that becomes so much fun you think you're going to lose your mind? Where everybody gets into that vibrational zone of happiness and well-being, you know what we're talking about? If you will sit in focused awareness of life, in absence, in other words, if you'll just stop complaining for a little while, if you'll just stop taking score for a little while, if you'll just stop looking where something isn't and yearning for something to be there for a little while, if you'll just find this reason to feel a little good and this reason to feel a little good and this reason to feel a little good, life will produce for you, sort of like happened on the 10 that day, a rampage that just gets better and better and better and better. And so it turns out that this business of the science of deliberate creation, we're now expressing it to you in a less deliberate way. Chill.
I get it, yeah.
Find more reasons to relax, find more reasons to praise, but don't try to force anything. And when you find yourself trying too hard, change the subject. Try to find a subject that's easier.
Yeah.
Good, that's good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.